right, Dolphins fans, Dolphin people. Tyreek Hill seems like he's over here being like, yo, them deuces, because I'm trying to be out of here. And while on one hand, I'm kind of like, hey, we can get some picks. I was like, the team does got to restructure and stuff like that. I'm also like, where is he really gonna go, and who's gonna really be able to give us some picks for him? I was like, they're not to be the crazy enough. There's really not that many places that I feel like Tyreek can go, especially with his demand of basically like he wants to be basically in a place where he can keep on playing, like in the playoffs and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be really a challenge while also trying to get his money. Because I was like, that's why he came to us. He came to us for basically getting the money, and he got the money, and I was like, we've been sort of in or almost into the playoffs. But I was like, you trying to have the cake eat too. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, because I was like, I feel like you get paid and also go to a place that's like get to the playoffs, especially when you think that you're that upper echelon of like player. And I was like, to be honest, I was like, he sort of what changes the dynamic of this offense. But if he wants to trade, I was like, cool. But where realistically? I was like, and to be honest, I was like, I feel like it's slim pickings. Not, I was like, I wasn't even trying to find a team that's necessarily of like a team that he could go to, and it also could be like, like a contender type of thing like that, because there's really not that many of them. I was like, there's really not anywhere for him to go. I was like, the biggest one, I was like, the couple I thought of, I was like, to be funny or to see if you get the most amount would be New England. They don't have any type of receivers there. I was like, they got a couple young people, Booty and Polk and stuff like that, but they don't have anybody that's really established or dynamic. You can send them there. I was like, now, yes, you will have to play him several times, and I was like, Drake May's arm, which I think is better than Tua, will probably be able to give Tyreek Hill what he sort of needs as far as the stats, but I don't think they're anywhere close to basically being in the playoff. And I was like, also, if there's nothing worse than basically your team and the division telling you that we're going to trade you within, I don't know what is. I was like, yeah, I was like, but could you get something more out of New England? Possibly. I was like, would they do it? No, it's within the division. They're not going to do it. Another one that I thought of, I was like, just because I was like, they don't ever seem to be over here being like, we're going to start anew, and their cap situations always been have been poor. But when there's a will, there's a way. Always with them is basically could Tyreek Hill go to the New Orleans Saints? I was like, if they keep Carr or they go cheaper with Spencer Rattler, you still need a receiver out there. I was like, I think everybody else has just really been doing like a good little like teamwork type of job. I forgot the guy named that basically messed up his leg. That was a speedster early on in the year. Like Chris Olave been banged up and stuff like that, where he's been in and out of the lineup. Cedric Wilson didn't really do too much here. Now I'm just like, okay, this is a place where they keep trying to have the veterans. They keep on trying to be able. They keep on wanting to push the cap down the road and just contend and just see if they can get Will to the playoffs. And I was like, hey, you get another receiver while Chris Olave, I believe, is still on his rookie contract too. So you can have him come down there. He could be the deep threat. He could be the guy that you need that could probably open up the offense as well. And I was like, they're always a team that everybody sort of seems to be like, oh, they can't get in the playoff. They got enough veterans, and they don't ever seem to. So I was like, it's a possibility, I guess, in that type of way. Another one I thought of that I was like could be really intriguing, is the Atlanta Falcons. I was like, I think they do need somebody on that squad that is really dynamic. I was like, I think Drake London is a good receiver, and I was like, granted, we only got to see bits and pieces of things, but I was like, I think like how you've seen him with his connection with Penix, I was like, show you that what he can do, especially as being a big jump ball type of receiver. But I was like, he also seemed. I was like, he also is one of those like dudes that don't really run fast, but he's always sort of like open in the intermediate, the downfield routes or whatever. Kyle Pitts, even though I was like, he has the talent that's there, it just doesn't seem to be clicking. But they don't have anybody that's really dynamic on that on the receiving portion. Bijan Robinson, I was like, that's why I phrased it the way I did, and I was like, but somebody like Tyreek Hill will open up things for Drake London. I was like, well, can maybe get more out of Pitts. It's going to open up more lanes for Bijan to run. But now that you got Penix there, and I was like, him and his arm and his accuracy down there in Atlanta, that just sort of might need to be able to outscore people while their defense. I was like, they got a couple of good defensive pieces, Simmons, Terrell, and stuff, Bates. So I was like, they have a few defensive pieces, but I was like, they might just need to be a team that put numbers on the board. And I was like, Tyreek Hill, I think that would be a good spot, just because they also got so many people on like as rookies, where it's like London, Pitts, Bijan, Penix, all on rookie contracts on the offensive side. So you're not really paying anybody but like a couple of the offensive linemen. I think that could really open up that team and maybe help everybody else get a line. Then the last one I could think that could be a wild card here is the Las Vegas Raiders. They're going to try to get a quarterback, I feel like, in the draft. I was like, I mean, they could try to get somebody out of free agency, but who is there really to get? But I was like, there really isn't, outside of Crosby, Miller, like, who are you really paying? They don't have a number one receiver. I was like, Myers has sort of been like their top dude this whole time. And I was like, I just feel like if they get a quarterback, Tom Brady is over. I was like, he might be making the calls enough to basically just say like, hey, while we got this young quarterback, give him a weapon to at least help him until he gets basically where he needs to go. And I was like, they need talent as well. I was like, what do they got on offense? I'm waiting. If I wait any longer, this video will run out of time. Anyway, I think they have money to do it. They're the Raiders. First of all, this would have been a no-brainer pick if it would have been the former Davis. Yeah, I think they're really a sneaky pick if you could. I just don't think that. The only thing that I will say is, if they do get a quarterback, they're going to have to use their picks to move up, and that might be the sort of hard part of it all. And I was like, Atlanta, I will say that they probably will be trying to get defense. But like I said, I don't think Tyreek Hill is not going for a first to me. I was like, that's a second round pick. Just because I was like, to be a third spot, makes a lot of money. I was like, getting up there in age as well for a short receiver. I was like, all the stuff they'll use to work around it or whatever. But I was like, I think if we can get something decent, a second, a fifth, or second or fourth, something like that, I think you got to at least think about it or whatever. Might just keep him, just because I was like, if we had to come out and say Mike McDaniel's is set, job is safe, there ain't no telling how much longer it is. And also with Tua and all that, I'm just saying, there's a lot of questions for the Dolphins. I was just like, hey, he wants to go, sell up for parts at this point. See what else we can get. Anyway, what do y'all all think? Do you think we should get rid of Tyreek Hill? Where should he go? I was like, those are the four places I could think of where I was like, where he can go, where it's like there's not other receivers there as well too. Because I was like, there were a couple other ones where I was like, Tennessee, and I was like, no, they got Brian Thomas now. I was like, I don't know if they want to do that. I was like, the Giants, I was like, they need the picks that they can in order to rebuild their team or whatever. I will say Jacksonville's the other one that's intriguing, just because I was like, if you're going to get a top receiver like this, you want to have a rookie receiver as well. That way the money sort of offsets as well. And I was like, Trevor Lawrence, you want to see if he's the guy. That I was like, that would be the best way to see it if you give him somebody else to be dynamic on the offense with, or whatever, because they do also need some juice in Jacksonville. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Until then, peace. I'm out.